I wanted to get some of the practical resources and tips that helped you to get started. Because again, I see this. I'll just give you an example right now. I have a friend, I won't name them, but very dear friend that's going to listen to this, that recently got a diagnosis that was very serious. And he was just blown away by it and said, I thought I was healthy. And here these multiple doctors are giving me a very strong prognosis. And I have to go on the drugs and do all these things right away. And he said, can you send me, what I can do to turn things around? I go, okay, I can't give you detailed, personalized. I don't know you, but I could give you general recommendations. And I sent him quite a long email. It was
Mhm.
like, you could do, coffee enemas and sauna and mindfulness
Mhm.
this way, and Joe Dispenza's love and brain coherence. And it was overwhelming for him. And he ended up, I think, not doing much out of it, or at least
Mhm.
being overwhelmed by it all, saying, my goodness, I don't even know half this stuff. And it was my fault because I threw everything at him that I knew of
Mhm.
and said maybe he could go down which one he likes and maybe feel which ones are best for him. But that, again, to most people out there, is just this overwhelming 50 different things you can do. I don't even know where to start. It's the paradox of choice, correct? It's
Mhm.
you will become, paralyzed by too many things. Where would you recommend, or how does someone start to understand, where do I even start? Is that more of an internal thing? Is that more of a coaching thing with someone else? How would
Mhm.
you do that?
I think I would approach it exactly like I did and asking myself the question, what led to this outcome?
Mm,
Before we start creating our ideal scenario, our healing, our visualization, we can ask first, like, what led to this outcome? Which behavior, which emotions, which thoughts, which people or work you were having that was maybe making you sick, or how was your lifestyle in general? And based on that, making changes. Of course, it might seem like a sacrifice for one, but for me, it wasn't a sacrifice at all. Like I could either see the hospital visit as a sacrifice or me putting in the work to start healing. So it's again how we view a certain situation and being gentle with yourself in the process. Because
it,
it's, oh, hmm?
go ahead.
I wanted to say it's uncomfortable to face all of that you were doing maybe wrong in the past.
Right. And you should never have guilt over that. You should hold yourself responsible in some ways because that empowers you to say, all right, if I was responsible for getting myself here, I can get myself out of it as well. But you
Mm-hmm,
should never be in those lower, consciousness levels of guilt, apathy, shame. That's never going to help you with healing. I think
mm-hmm,
one of the things I also heard from what you're saying here is that a big part of what led you to these things was intuition, introspection, mindfulness, and meditation. Because
mm-hmm,
again, I have a lot of people I speak to that want me to answer what they should do. And I just feel that that's impossible. I can't do
mm-hmm,
this for you. The healing is not for me to decide. Like a doctor will tell you, you need to do this surgery, this drug. I don't feel that's the right approach to anyone's healing, and that your body knows best, you know best.
mm-hmm.
But in order for you to get that, because people are just, oh, I don't know what to do, you're going to have to do a lot of that intuition building, introspection, sitting with
Mm-hmm.
yourself, asking over and over and getting an answer as you breathe slowly, right? Mindfulness and meditation. Is that what you attribute to your success in finding the things that worked for you very well, finding the books? Is those practices of mindfulness and working on your intuition, being in nature, that which builds intuition? Would you say that was part of it?
Of course, like I just came back from my Asia trip where I also spent time in a monastery
Mm,
learning deeper about meditation. And people are often looking for answers outside of them, be it a doctor that can help them
yes.
or whoever else, but it's often the answers are within. But it takes also courage to sit on the mat, be quiet, and listen to what is popping up because there might be also some negative thoughts all the time going around. And really committing yourself to putting in the time and learning how to meditate, learning how to visualize. It's not easy, and most people give up, especially in the beginning stages. but it's so worth it to calm down that mind, that monkey mind, and return back to what truly matters.
Would you recommend that someone go to a monastery, change their environment if they're struggling to find answers where they are? A lot of times we're in stressful environments and we stay that way to try and find an answer, but it's very difficult. You know, I will
Mm-hmm.
say this, when I'm in a place of work, I do work, but I need to leave this place to then reconnect and go to a different environment to get different answers. My creativity happens here, but maybe my more intuitive section happens somewhere else. And I know you're a big fan of traveling and living, you know, and seeing the world. As am I. I feel like that gave me such great perspective, but it also allowed me to change mindsets, get out of environments. Would you say that that's a practical way to get in touch with yourself, is to just travel to exotic places and monasteries and see the world, and you will then possibly get more answers to your challenges?
Of course, like traveling is one of the greatest self-development tools, in my opinion, because you, especially when you travel by yourself, you have to constantly step out of your comfort zone, get to know different cultures, different people, be open, and do things that you wouldn't normally do in your day-to-day life. But maybe some people don't have the finances to go and travel, so it doesn't necessarily have to be far, far to exotic places. It's enough to just take the bicycle and go to the first nature spot,
Yes.
to be around some trees, maybe a lake or a river that is flowing there, and just listen to the sound of the river. That's all the meditation that you need.
Yeah.
People often think they have to necessarily sit on the mat to meditate, but already walking consciously through the forest or listening to the birds, to the sound of the river, that's a meditation already. And as
Mhm.
soon as your thoughts come in, try to overtake that, your focus here, focusing on the river, start bringing your focus back to that sound, for example, or to how you walk step by step.
Yeah, it's very ironic that we're placed into these artificial man-made places that are very stressful. Let's say a hospital, you know,
Mhm.
fluorescent lights, lots of, you know, not no nature there, very kind of gray and clinical and fear-inducing, and we're told to make our decisions there that may impact our lives forever about our
Mhm.
health and life or death. When in reality, we should say, hey, go into nature, go for a very long walk in a park, put your phone away and really take an hour to think about this and make a decision there. It's the
Mhm.
opposite of where you're told to make most decisions. But that'll
Mhm.
be such an informed decision. And I truly believe if anyone asks, what can I do to cultivate? Because I feel like I have no intuition, no gut feeling about what is best for me. It's just go into nature. I
Mhm.
mean, there's no better way, I think, to cultivate that intuition. You could read books, you could take the time and do courses and everything, but I still believe nature will always give you the best answers and solutions.